true, true,
True.
Yeah. Let's go.
True.
Yerp. What's good? We got Legend in the building early. What's good with you, Legend? How you feeling? How are you feeling? Are you enjoying? First of all, shout out to the biddies. Appreciate the love. You feel me? Appreciate that. Early morning love is coming in. Just, I mean, get rain on them. You feel me? How are y'all feeling? Are y'all enjoying Fortnite without the battle bus? Are y'all learning to surf? Who's learning to surf? You feel me? What's good? What's good? Did y'all enjoy your weekend? How is everyone doing? The surf not bad. I still haven't surfed. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't surfed yet. Because I feel like me and this PlayStation have a love hate relationship where it's like, yo, I want to get on, I want to turn up a little bit, and it's like, bro, you forgot to update. You turned the PlayStation off. You didn't allow it to update, so now you have to wait 7 hours. You know what I'm saying? I dabble. I play every now and again. You know what I mean? I'm some shit, but I'm probably not the worst player out there for sure. I'm definitely better on PlayStation than I was on the Nintendo Switch for sure. I was doing some cross-play on Nintendo Switch and I was just so delayed that it just wasn't working out. So ever since I got this PS4, I've been doing a little better. You know who plays Fortnite, and I still haven't had a chance to reach out to you. And for some reason, if you or your team is watching, shout out to Trey Smith. Trey Smith does play Fortnite. Trey, are you a sweat? Trey might be a sweat. Yeah, we can definitely link up. We can play, you know what I'm saying? We can absolutely play. I'm gonna get my skills up. So I think I did two collaborative streams where like we played games and stuff like that. So one of the communities that I'm a part of, Raid Train community, excuse me. Um, we haven't. I feel like, well, at least I haven't done it in a while with everyone, but we used to do like a game night, like game night. Folks get on, everybody streaming, everybody playing games. You only been playing since February, March of this year. Oh, okay, that's what's up. I'm sure you're still better than me. But yeah, that's not bad compared to like some people who've been playing for years, right? Like people who are OGs to Fortnite and they were playing during the building phases. Like, bro, I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm kind of glad the building days, they're not over, right? But those zero build games seem to be the shit for people. Cause I feel like if people had to do all the things you have to do in Fortnite and build, like, bro, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And if for anybody, yeah, most people don't do any building. They're like, yo, I'll come over and chop your shit down. But I ain't about to sit here and build and build and build. Like, that's crazy. Those building days, man. Can you imagine for any of those Call of Duty players in the building, any of those Battlefield Sixers? Can you imagine if you had to build in those games? You know what I'm saying? You just laying brick and mortar or something, you feel me? Like, that'd be tough. And still have to shoot people? Like, how do you not get sniped as you're trying to build this weak ass structure? They made it easier though. Yeah, I think you just keep. I have built before. I've played the builder game and like I just kept smashing the button and eventually built some type of structure. And by the time I even finished that one structure, somebody was already inside of it with me. So you know, yeah, I definitely take my, I don't even want to call myself mid-level. My entry level Call of Duty skills, I feel like transferred okay to Fortnite, right? I know how to shoot at least. I know how to aim, you know what I'm saying? I can get some kills. I have won a match. I realized I said, "Hey, okay, they're pairing you up with people who are very similar to you in terms of skill. So, okay, everybody else here sucks too." Yeah, exactly. You play Call, you be fine for it. Exactly. That was my sentiments. Exactly. Yeah. So, sorry. Yeah. So the weekend, man, the weekends go so fast, and I feel like they go even faster as we get into the holiday season. I feel like everyone, I won't say enjoys, but everyone experiences the holiday season slightly different, right? Like everybody experiences it differently. Like if you are a person who has to work random hours, then the holiday season may be a little bit more stressful for you. It may be a little more faster pace, especially if you're a seasonal employee. Let's say you work at, Target, Walmart, a place where you're just working for that season. It may be a little faster pace for you. Or if you're a 9 to 5er, right? You're a person who not necessarily works 9 to 5, but you work some type of set shift Monday through Friday, whether that be first, second, or third shift, graveyard shift, and maybe you don't work weekends. Your experience with the holiday season may be slightly different, right? You may, you know, be looking at the weekends like, man, that weekend went hella fast, where other people may be like, it was the weekend? Like, sheesh, what day is it? I got people off till next year. Meanwhile, Amazon's still up and running. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Exactly. Some people have already said, yo, this year's over for work. You know what I'm saying? If you one of those people, listen, shout out to you. First of all, you know what I'm saying? You gotta appreciate your time, and you gotta value your time. You'll be working till Christmas. Listen, you're not the only one. There's gonna be a hell of people out here working till Christmas. I saw yesterday that there was like a post or something that said McDonald's was paying like $30 an hour. I'm like, shit. I might take off from my real job and work that one over the holidays just to, get that money and use it for Christmas gifts or something. $30 an hour is a lot of money. Like to be at McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? To be at anywhere where it doesn't require you to have some type of higher or formal education. And y'all know me, I'm always impartial to every side of the quote unquote argument, right? So some people say, hey, it's always better to go to school. Some people say, hey, it's better to just go straight to work and then you can earn your way up. There's positives and negatives to both sides. But I tell you one thing, they're gonna make it more and more enticing if they paying people $30 an hour to work a cashier. To work at a cash register, listen. That's a win. And I tell you right now, if you're not even making $30 an hour and you see a fast food place that's paying you that much, if you can get a full shift, listen, you might want to do it. You might want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think we are now in a time, and again, I don't know what time everyone's from, right? I don't know if you're from the 1900s, the 99s, or the 2000s. You feel me? But I will say that depending on the time that you're from, will definitely determine how you feel about employment, right? Here's what I mean by that. Some people feel like, hey, if I get a job, I got to be locked into a job because, unless I have this grand opportunity that comes about, I'm going to stay put no matter how they're treating me. Because on my resume or on my interview or my job application, I don't want it to seem like, I'm not reliable and all this other stuff, right? That's one side of the coin. That's your 1900s babies. And then you have your 2000s babies that are like, listen, working a job 2 years, if I don't feel like it's going as fast as I want it to go, or I'm not getting as many benefits or accolades or bonuses or raises or whatever the case is, I'm not getting enough vacation time. 2 years, listen, I'm looking for another job, right? That's your 2000s mentality. Your 2010 babies, right? Because obviously your 2020 babies aren't working yet. Your 2010-ish babies, right? They're like, listen, any chance I get to the next job, hey, fuck this last job, right? Fuck this last job, chat. If I get hired at one job and they start me off at $7 an hour and I'm working there for a week, and in the next week, somebody offers me $8 or $9 an hour, well, I'm fucking quitting. I'm going to the $8 or $9 an hour job. And then if I'm working there 2 or 3 days and someone offers me more, I'm leaving and I'm going there. And then if I need a mental health break, then fuck it, I'm quitting. Right? That is the closer to the 2010s mentality. And I think that's a good mentality. I think it's a good mentality. Shout out to Chef in the building. What's good, party animal? How you feeling? You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality. I feel like sometimes you have to have a little bit of all those. Shout out to the biddies. Appreciate you, my guy. You got to have a little bit of all that, right? You got to have a little bit of all that mentality if you want to, quote unquote, succeed, right? If you want to grow, you know what I'm saying? You got to have a plan. And the plan don't even have to be completely outlined. Listen, I'm here to tell you right now. For people who push that you have to have a completely outlined plan for your life in order to move forward, I'm calling bullshit. I'm going to call bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because if I look at someone's plan for their entire life, I'm just going to be like,
What the hell is even that?
What the hell is even that? You know what I'm saying? Life don't work that way. You got to be willing to adjust. You got to be willing to maneuver, right? You know what I'm saying? And if you look at the title of this episode, it's called Mamba Mentality, right? We're all familiar with Mamba, right? Let me show you a little something real quick. We're all familiar with Mamba. We know that is Kobe Bryant, and we know that the type of individual he was when it came to work ethic, right? Anybody seen Kevin Hart's new stand-up on Netflix? I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it. Kevin Hart has a new stand-up on Netflix. In my opinion, it's hilarious. Kevin Hart's just a funny dude to me. One of the things he mentioned in there was about Kobe Bryant and about Kobe Bryant. Yeah, acting my age. Shout out to Legend, right? Acting my age, right? And he talked about Kobe Bryant. And he talked about why he, was not basically going to the league, meaning himself. after he discovered Kobe Bryant had did this basketball camp entirely, never putting the ball in his right hand, right? That was the Mamba mentality. Let me show you something real quick before we continue, right? This is the Mamba mentality, right? We know Kobe. But let me show you this real quick. Here's a little clip to start off our all right.
You're at the top of your games. You've got prestigious awards. You're a Chinese megastar. You own outer space.
I do.
You got here by accident. So what's next? Where do you go from the top? You go over the top.
Popping stuff.
The Kobe system is about adaptation, attacking fast
Who
and
remembers
strong.
this?
How do you know when you're in the Kobe system? Look at your feet. How do you use the system?
Put on the shoes.
Listen to me. Any questions?
What if you're really successful?
He makes a good point.
Adaptation is not about reaction. The dinosaurs reacted. The meteor adapted. The meteor won. Is that clear, Serena?
Not really. What does it have to do with my backhand?
Please watch.
Yeah, if you remember this, shout out to you. This was one of the funniest things. Nothing to do with nothing.
You're welcome.
How much more do you want from me?
More.
How much more successful do you want me to be?
More successful.
How many records can my records break?
More records.
But I'm the best.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
Welcome.
What is he talking about?
Wong Lee Home. I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
You're feeling like you're nothing more than a multi-talented Chinese megastar.
Yeah, this
Not
is
a good
this
feeling
is
at all.
Total of 4 minutes.
And you want to
long.
know where you go from here. The only way to answer your question is with more questions. What is this?
一双鞋，
No, it's a system. It can attack both fast
Exactly.
and
What is
strong.
he talking about?
What is this?
鲨鱼，
No, it's a system. It can attack both fast and strong. What is this?
一套体系，
No, it's a multi-talented Chinese megastar. But it's a Chinese megastar who will be a system by the time we're through.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This had to be an expensive ass commercial, first of all.
Successfully gone to the bottom of the ocean,
Me too.
and I've successfully gone to outer space.
Ditto.
I feel like I'm already living success at success.
You're welcome.
Right. I'm just wondering what's left.
Richard Branson, you have achieved success at success.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Teddy Robbins.
But have you achieved
Shout out to Virgin
success at success at success?
No. No, I haven't. I'm sorry, Kobe Bryant.
And I'm gonna make a point
can
to
do
all
better.
this in a second.
I know you can.
You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know what it is.
Good luck to you, Richard Branson.
It's Monday.
Make me proud.
Financial entertainment.
Explosiveness
Disclaimer
is not a
coming soon.
matter of fast or strong. Explosiveness is a matter of fast and strong. Tony Robbins, this is your last question.
Listen, I'd just like to add what Mr. Bryant was saying here, because about explosiveness, if you really want to change your life, then you got to take massive action. You got to immerse yourself. You've got to really understand that problems are really your gifts.
Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Apologize to Kanye West for wasting $2 million of his time.
I'm sorry, Kanye. Sorry, Serena. Guys.
Moving on.
$2 million of us.
Welcome to the Kobe system.
The Kobe system. Listen, the Kobe system, chat. The Mamba mentality. So what does any of that mean? It really just means that, yo, you gotta lock in, right? You gotta say, like, you have to be willing to make adjustments in life if you want to reach a certain pinnacle, right? Because you have people, you can't tell me that folks aren't looking online and they're like, bro, how the fuck did this young kid become successful like this? Like, how does a Ryan toy review go from a video on YouTube to owning an entire aisle at Target, or becoming the most coveted toy or collection of toys for Christmas? Like, how do they do that? You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to adapt. You got to have that Mamba mentality, right? So you got to be willing to lock in. You got to be willing to understand that your time is just as valuable as the CEOs of the company. Sure, maybe you don't earn as much money, right? Or maybe you don't even have as much know-how, but your time is just as valuable. And once you understand that, you'll start to put pieces in place, or you'll start to think about how you approach things in different ways, right? Like, this is about to be the most random example of anything you've ever seen. And then we're going to get into some actual stuff, right? Let's get into some stuff. But before we do, here's the disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a certified financial planner. I'm not a regular financial planner. I'm not a tax accountant, tax advisor. I'm not certified in anything. I don't have any licenses, none of that. This is all financial entertainment. So anything you see here, you must do your own due diligence. Anything I say here is not a recommendation to you of something you should do, even if I specifically say it is. Do your own research. I'm just here to entertain you. I am a streamer. I'm True Keyman. You can call me True. You feel me? Okay, so a lot of people get stuck in the most random places of things, right? And you know what a lot of people used to get stuck with, chat? A lot of people used to get stuck with business, right? So people would say, hey, you know, I have this business idea and I want to start a business and I don't know what to do. Again, I'm not sponsored by anyone, but let me show you how to establish a business, right? Right? This is LegalZoom. This is just one of the many places you can go to actually establish a business, right? Feel free to take notes if you want to. If you are a successful streamer, if you're making money on Twitch, are you operating your Twitch as a business, right? Let's say I am True Keyman LLC. I want to start my business. I started streaming on Twitch at the end of May. So far at the end of May, you might as well call it June, right? So I started my business in June, right? So they give you pretty much everything that you need, or you could just say, hey, I'm going to start my business. What type of business in it? I'm going to do a LLC, right? Because this is the simplest, most flexible way to structure your business to protect your personal assets. When you're having a business, that's one of the things you want to think about. Protecting your personal assets, right? You can look into all these different structures as well. I'm just giving you a quick example. You're going to learn how to establish a business and open up a business in 2 seconds here, right? So I have my business idea. My idea is I'm a variety streamer. My source of income is bits and subscriptions, donos, etc., right? So I've already made some funds today because shout out to Legend and shout out to Chef for donating to my business, right? So now I actually need a business account. My business is True Keyman LLC. Okay, so I'm gonna start my LLC. Here you go. And then I'm gonna type in the name of my business, etc., etc., etc. And then I'm gonna put in more info about my business. Where is it located, right? And then I'm gonna find the right fit for your business. Well, I don't really know how much of this stuff I need. Maybe I'll get some of the pro stuff, right? It says recommended. Why? Because it includes, all this stuff in it, right? An operating agreement, which helps you set entity guidelines, settle disputes, and EIN, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It includes all this stuff. So here's one way you can actually do this, right? Or you could say, I want to do it for free because I want to learn along the way. Okay, here's your articles of organization, the documents needed to officially register your LLC with the state. That's what you need to start a business, chat. Right there. Articles of organization, right? Or if you're a corporation, articles of incorporation. That's what you need to start a business. So True Keymain LLC. Okay, here we go. Form my LLC. I'll put in my name, my phone number. I'll go through the process. Maybe it'll cost me a couple of bucks. And then they'll do the document for me. My business will be registered. It'll ask me, what do you do? Well, for me, I don't know how far my business is going to go. So I don't want to just say, hey, I'm just streaming. That's it, right? I'm going to say something like, I do any and all business legal in my state. My state is Maryland. Any and all business legal in the state of Maryland. Boom. I'm going to go through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Get my articles of organization, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now my business is officially registered. Chat, we just created a business in 3 minutes. So if you're out there and you're stuck because you don't know how to establish a business, there you have it. That's how you establish a business. Now you go, okay, well, I established a business, true. What's next? Well, what's next is if you get paid, right? Legend gave us money. Chef gave us money. How do we now get that money from Twitch into my pocket, right? How do we transfer that money? Well, we go to Twitch, right? In order to even receive that type of donation, you have to be affiliated. So that's another process. But once you become affiliated and you register, they're going to ask you for all this information. Who are you? What's your tax situation? Where do you want your funds to go? Well, you say, well, it's for a business. So I want the business funds to go into a business account. And then you go somewhere like, what was the example we used before? Bank of America or something. You can go anywhere, right? You could just type in business accounts at a bank, right? I'm just using examples. I don't have any sponsorship or anything with any of these people. Okay, I want to open an account, right? Let's open a new account today. They're going to ask you for all of your information. Obviously, I'm not going to put this in, but you're going to get to a point and they're going to say, okay, now tell me about your business. Well, you're going to have your articles of organization already established. But here's the thing that you won't find out until you're ready to open up your business account. Your business, let's go back. One of the things your business is going to need is this. EIN, Employee Identification Number, which is used to file taxes, open bank accounts, and build your staff, right? What is an EIN? Employer Identification Number. It's a unique 9-digit federal tax identification number issued by the IRS to business entities operating in the United States. It is essentially a business's equivalent of a personal social security number and is used to identify the entity for tax purposes. Right? So here's some of the things that Legend says he got one. You need to learn how to do tax write-offs. Right? So businesses use EINs for a variety of reasons. Filing federal tax returns, hiring employees, opening a business account, applying for a business license, applying for a business loan, withholding taxes. Right? Shout out to Ice in the building. Okay, so how do I get shout out to the biddies, right? We're still putting money in our bank accounts. See, Legend is still putting money into our bank accounts, right? So how do I go about now getting an EIN number, right? How do I get an EIN number? Okay, well, EINs are for tax purposes, right? So we're going to go to irs.gov, right? We're going to type in EIN. You're going to come to this page, right? And do you need a new EIN? Or you can apply for an employer identification number. Make sure you pay attention. If you're in the crowd, if you're in the chat, and you've never seen this before, make sure you pay attention. How it works: complete the application in one session. You can't save it for later. It expires after 15 minutes of inactivity, and you'll need to start over. Print your EIN confirmation letter for your records. You see this part, chat? Anyone on here? Legend, anyone else? If you don't have an EIN number and you need it, right? Here's the first step in order to get write-offs. In order to get write-offs, you got to be filing taxes. To file taxes, you need a tax identification number, right? Print your EIN confirmation letter for your records. I point this out for a reason. Who can use this tool? Use if your principal place of business is in the U.S. or U.S. territories. You're the responsible party. You have the responsible party Social Security or identification taxpayer ID, right? You can't use this if your principal place of business is outside of the U.S. So you have to be operating within the U.S. in order to get an EIN, which pays taxes to the IRS. It's the United States government tax entity, right? So what you're going to do is you're just going to click apply for EIN. To get an EIN number, all you need is the document that LegalZoom has provided you after you complete this Form My LLC, right? You can literally create and establish a registered and legal business. I'm not saying do this for any illegal or other reasons. This is for legal business. This is for people who are stuck and think, I know I have a business idea, but I don't know how to create a business account. You could give this idea to your friends right here. Like, listen, there's this dude on Twitch today, and he just showed me how to establish a business. Establish a business. You formed your LLC or your whatever you want to do. You get your articles of incorporation. You take your articles of incorporation to the IRS website, irs.gov. You apply for an EIN. You go through the process when you begin the application. See this? Legal structure, identity, address, additional details, review and submit, EIN assignment. 6 steps. 6 steps, chat. Choose your structure. Well, we just created an LLC, so clearly it's an LLC. How many members? Well, right now it's just me, right? Where's the territory, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Depending on where you register your business, I'm going to say, hey, I did mine in Maryland, right? It's going to give you additional information, yada, yada, yada. You go through, I started a new business, right? Already done step 1. You see this? Now you're going to put in your information. You, the business owner, you are becoming a CEO. You go through these steps that I promise you, chat. Each of these steps are just as quick as step 1. So 5 minutes later, you're already at the EIN assignment. When you get to the end, I'm not going to go all the way to the end, obviously, because I'm not going to put fraudulent information in here. When you get to the end, you know what's going to ask you when you get to the end, chat? It's going to say, for your EIN number, do you want the PDF or do you want it mailed to you? You should select the option that gives you the PDF. Once you get the PDF, you can print it out. You can save it to your phone, right? But it gives you access to your EIN number immediately. If you do the mail option, you have to wait for the form or for the document to come in the mail before you have your EIN number. You won't have a choice. I'm telling you this now, right? So you do the PDF, you get your EIN number, you go over to Grasshopper, you type in your information, you open up a business account, you fund your business account, and there you have it. There you have it. If True can walk you through the steps of establishing your LLC, making sure it's legally registered, making sure you have an EIN number, and then also getting a bank account, out of all of this, the longest step is probably going to be opening up the bank account. Exactly, Ice. Exactly. The PDF, so much easier, right? there you have it. And if I had a business to open up, I could have opened it up right before your eyes if I didn't want to share certain information. But there you go. Again, I'm not sponsored by any of these websites, but I'm just telling you, hey, you can go to LegalZoom. They'll get it done for you really quick. You can go to the irs.gov. They'll get it done for you really quick. And then you can go to Grasshopper or any other financial institution and open up your business account. And after you finish with all of that, you'll have major stuff on hand. You'll have your articles of incorporation on hand. You'll have your EIN number on hand. You'll have your bank documents on hand. Now you go back to Twitch and you input that information on Twitch, and now Twitch can pay you directly to your business account. So when tax time comes, you can file your business taxes and you can do it separate from your personal taxes. Don't commingle funds, chat. Right? You feel me? Who feeling that? Who feeling that, chat? I just taught y'all that. Establish and open up a business account in like 5 minutes, right? So now that we've talked about that, let's get into our rainbow chart, chat. Let's get into our rainbow chart. So again, the Mamba mentality. The Mamba mentality is saying, hey, the information is available to me, right? Now, what am I going to do with the information? What's the next step, right? How many records can my records break? More records. How much money can we make? More money, right? How much knowledge can we have? More knowledge, right? You know, I'm just here talking. It's financial entertainment, but at the end of the day, if you do your own research, you will learn these things really quickly. And I show how we can just go on Google for most of the things that we talk about and just literally type in the question that you have. Moving right along. So now we're at CNBC. Why do we choose CNBC? Well, we like CNBC. We like the layout. Nothing special, right? You can go anywhere to get this similar information. But one thing we like is they have their breaking news bar up at the top. So S&P rises, led by tech sector as Broadcom gains. IBM makes $11 billion deal. Listen, chat, everybody's making a deal. They tell you again right there. This is our Christmas bar. Down, up, down, up. VIX is up, right? It's after, you see the time, right? So it's after 9:30. So the stock market is currently open. Let's get into some of the articles. I'll tell you the biggest thing for me last week, and we'll see if they mention it here again, but Netflix. Chat, did y'all hear about Netflix? Did y'all hear about Netflix? Did y'all hear about Netflix? Listen, we may have to change gears for a second. I'm not gonna lie to you. Did you hear about Netflix? Yay or nay? We may have to switch gears for just a brief second, just in case as we're going through the article, something touches on it. But if you didn't hear about Netflix, let me show you right now. What Netflix doing? What has Netflix done? Watch this. I'm just going to type in Netflix on Google and watch. Let's see. Look. Trump looms over Netflix deal for Warner Bros. Discovery. Trump says Netflix, Warner Bros. Is Trump mad at Netflix? Trump might be mad at Netflix, bro. He might be mad. Warner Bros. Acquisition by Netflix. For those of you who don't know, Netflix acquired WB or Warner Bros. Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, chat. WB Discovery, Warner Bros. What to know about Netflix's $83 billion deal for Warner Bros. Discovery. The cash and stock deal would give the world's largest paid streaming service expansive power over theater owners and entertainment industry unions. Listen, y'all see the infamous WB sign? Apparently, on that water tower, y'all know anytime you see WB, they got the water tower. Apparently, that has an N over it already. I can't confirm nor deny, so if anybody drives past it, let us know. But Netflix purchased Warner Bros. Do people know what that means? Oh, look at this. Netflix does an about face in a huge way. Is this, I wonder if this is real right here. It probably is. Chat. Netflix acquiring Warner Bros. Like, let's look at some of the stuff that Warner Bros. Owns, chat. Warner Bros. Discovery. Do y'all see this? Warner Bros. Discovery. Look, that was a merger in itself, right? Look at this. Discovery Plus, HBO Max, Discovery, Food Network, HGTV, OWN, WB, HBO, CNN, TLC, Psy, Animal Planet, Cartoon Network, HLN, Cinemax, DC, Adult Swim, TNT, TBS, Eurosport, TVN, ID, Magnolia Network, Turner Sports. I don't think people really understand what this means. That is a lot of stations, bro. A lot of stations. Like that's a lot of, not even just stations, that's a lot of business. Because you're telling me, first of all, TBS, TNT, you can have NBA games on Netflix. You can have the DC universe come into Netflix. Who remembers a time before Disney Plus came about where there were Disney movies on Netflix? Remember you used to go to Netflix for your Disney movies? And then Disney said, wait, that's a huge opportunity. But you're telling me you can have HGTV? If people are in the process of buying a house, you're probably consumed by HGTV. You can have Animaniacs, Cartoon Network, you know what I'm saying? Kids Next Door. The list goes on and on and on. Pinky and the Brain, right? Big Bang Theory. Look at all this stuff. Adult Swim, right? Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I mean, that's a huge deal. Oh, look at this. Someone created a list of some of the. Hey, what happened? Let's see if we can see this picture. This says Dirt Sheet Radio's posts. The Boondocks, Adventure Time, Sex and the City, Final Destination, Cartoon Network, Game of Thrones, Singing in the Rain, The Powerpuff Girls, The Clockwork Orange, The Big Bang Theory, Minecraft Film Rights, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Turner Classic Movies, Friends, Oceans, Gremlins, Evil Dead, Mad Max, The Matrix, Beetlejuice, DC Comics, Adult Swim, Tom and Jerry, The Jetsons, Casablanca, Harry Potter, shout out to that, Citizen Kane, The Goonies, Scooby-Doo, Rick and Morty, Johnny Bravo, Looney Tunes, The Hangover, The Conjuring, The Sopranos, Robot Chicken, Mortal Kombat, HBO Max, Smiling Friends, The Flintstones, The Boondocks, Adventure Time, WB Games, Monsterverse, Every TT Games, Made Lego Game, The Lord of the Rings, Dune 3, The Wizard of Oz. I mean, chat, how much do y'all pay for Netflix right now? Netflix has this thing where it's like on a rotation, right? Where it's like, all right, the holidays are coming up, so we're gonna flood your recommendations with holiday movies. Imagine the rotation that's gonna come about when they start pumping this content onto Netflix streaming service. It's gonna be yet another reason for people to cut the cord, people to reduce how many streaming services they have because Netflix is slowly becoming a monopoly. And then you're going to be paying as much for Netflix as you were paying for cable, potentially. I don't think they would go that crazy on everyone. I think Netflix is a lot smarter than that. Netflix has been around for so long where once upon a time, I still remember the day I found out about Netflix. There's 2 days, when it comes to Netflix, there's 2 days in particular I recall. I remember the day I found out about Netflix. When someone said, hey, you renting any movies? I'm like, what are you talking about? They said, well, there's a Dropbox over in the shopping center, right? I don't know how much I don't pay for it, but can't believe they added that much stuff though. Yeah, exactly. That's a lot of content. So somebody said, yeah, there's a Netflix Dropbox. I said, okay, what's the Netflix Dropbox? They said, you don't know what a Netflix Dropbox is? I said, no. They said, it's the thing where you can go and get the DVDs and you can rent the movies and then you return it. I said, really? And they said, yeah. And people had codes to get free movies and stuff like that. So that was the first instant. The second was after I became a frequent user of the Dropbox, right? Shout out to movie nights. You saw what I'm saying? At the crib, the Netflix. The next thing was, hey, now here is Netflix first opportunity to stream. And I'm like, what? They said, yeah, if you go online, you can request a Netflix DVD. Chat, I still have this DVD, chat. I requested the DVD on Wii. Look at this, chat. I'm not lying to you. Let me go full screen. This is not a lie, chat. This is a true story. You can request the Netflix DVD. Here's the instant streaming disc. So you no longer have to go to the Dropbox. You no longer have to go to the Dropbox. Now, if you have a Wii, you can just request this disc. So if you're wondering, yes, I am one of Netflix original subscription holders. They said instead of going to the Dropbox, now you can pay I think at the time, I can't remember. It was something crazy like, we'll send you the disc for free. Put the disc in your Wii, right? It'll tell you everything you need to do to download Netflix. And then for $1 a month, you can watch whatever movie you want. There's the disc, chat. I'm not lying to you. It was $1 a month. I said $1 a month to watch all the stuff that's on here? Yes, please. Yes, please. I still have the original packaging. Look at that. The original packaging. Yes, I'm not making this up. So you guys know I'm credible, right? And then from there, they went, hey, Netflix now has the app. You can download the app on your phone. You can download it on your Xbox. You can download it on your smart TV if you have one. Watch Netflix everywhere. Now the cost was $2 a month. Chat, I started off paying Netflix, I think $1 a month, and now I don't know what it's up to. Netflix has been automatically renewing on my account for when did Netflix come out? Let's see. Let's see when the Netflix Wii disc came out. Around March 2010. So for almost 16 years, chat, Netflix has been charging my account on a subscription service for the last 16 years. I don't know how much I don't pay. Okay. What's a reasonable price per month for Netflix? Because I know he paying more than $10 a month on Netflix. Yeah. Does that include the updated series? Dang, $1 a month? Yeah. Exactly. It's almost 2026. So almost 16 years. So why it existed? Microsoft held exclusive rights to Netflix app. So Netflix used this disc as a temporary solution for other consoles like Wii. See? I didn't know that. But now Netflix is this whole thing. This is the disc. This is look at that. That's the disc. I still have it. That was my proof. And I still have my Wii. And I guarantee if I actually turn my Wii on, it will still have the Netflix app on there. 15 years of price change. Exactly. I went from, it had to be ice. I'm telling you, it had to be like 99 cents a month. And now I think it's probably, I would have to check, but it's probably like $20 a month now. It has to be. All the stuff that's on there. And do I use it? Yes. I use Netflix more than anything. The two top streaming services that I use is Netflix and Disney Plus. Hands down. Hands down. And eventually those will be the only services you really need. Netflix, probably Disney Plus, maybe Amazon. So I've been using Netflix for a long time. But yeah, there's this. So if you guys didn't know before, now you know. Netflix owns WB and all the stuff that comes along with it. So don't be surprised if the price you're paying is going to go up even further. Anyway, let's get into some of these articles. We've been really chatting today, but we still learning. So Paramount Skydance launches hostile bid for WBD to finish what we started. CEO Ellison tells CNBC. What's WBD? Oh, Warner Brothers. Netflix gets a downgrade after announcing Warner Bros. Film and streaming acquisition. Look, there you go, right there. You said better not be $30 a month. It's probably going to be, hey, I tell you right now, HBO and HBO Max alone is already like $10 a month. So if you're able to get that same content on Netflix, they may give it to you at a discounted price, but based on all the other stuff you get along with it, that could be an easily $10 a month upgrade. Berkshire's Todd Combs, investment lieutenant to Buffett and Geico CEO, is leaving for JP Morgan. I mean, there's just rich guys going from one company to the next. Confluent stock soars 29% as IBM announces $11 billion acquisition deal. Acquisitions all over the place. Mamba mentality. United maintains elite status requirements for 2027, but here's what's changing. So something is changing in the airlines. They too rich to stay still. That's a fact. Here are Monday's biggest analyst calls. I tell you all the time, you're going to keep seeing NVIDIA, Apple, Tesla, GM, Carvana, Five Below, and more. You're going to keep seeing them. China's trade surplus tops $1 trillion despite Trump's attempt to contain it. Here's what that means. Listen, before we move on, notice how Carvana, are y'all noticing that Carvana is being mentioned more and more? Let me just tell you something. Let me just tell you guys something, right? Once upon a time, you were able to get any cell phone that your heart desired. You can get a phone that flipped this way. You can get a phone that flipped that way. You can get a phone that you in your head thought was as thin as a sheet of paper. You can get one that slide. You can get one that glides. You can get one with a stylus, one where the buttons barely work, one with actual buttons, one with keyboards, one with all touch screens, etc., etc., etc. You remember the days? How many phones can you get now, chat? How many phones can you get? How many phones can you get, chat? Like 3? There's like 3 phones that exist. There's like 3 phones that exist. Why am I mentioning this? Because in a lot of different industries, eventually that's what's going to happen, right? Car sales industry, right? There's going to be someone or something that changes the way that an industry operates. Right now, for cars, Carvana is one of those places. Why? Why is Carvana one of those places, chat? Because Carvana is operating so differently than your dealership up the street. You go to your dealership up the street, you say, hey, I want a Hyundai Elantra, and, I don't want one with a ton of miles on it. So I'm going to go, and you're going to sit in the dealership, and they're going to haggle with you for 2 hours because they're trying to get the biggest profit possible. The car's worth $18,000. You're probably going to walk out of there paying $25,000, $26,000, right? Then after you pay $26,000, you agree to that price. Then they're going to try to get another $2,000 out of you because of, the warranty, etc. Well, Carvana's not doing all that. They're not haggling with you. CarMax, I always say CarMax is pretty good too, because CarMax is one of those places that they don't haggle. It's like, here are all the details about this car. Do you want it or do you not want it? Here's the report. We did the inspection. Here's everything you need to know. They give you everything you need to know. Look at this. Look at this, chat. Free shipping, 0 money down. Your estimated payment, $360 a month. If you want this car, get started and buy it. You can get it by Wednesday. They're changing the way people purchase used cars. You ever been riding around? Some people, respectfully, some people aren't able to actually get out the house, right? But if you are able to get out the house and you're on the road and you look around, every now and again, you'll see someone's tag and it says Carvana on it. Carvana will deliver this car to your front door. This is the car. If I want a Hyundai Elantra and this one has 19,000 miles on it, this is the car, right? All I got to do is get started, go through the process, and then after the process is said and done, and I get financing or I pay cash or whatever my situation is, Wednesday, they're probably going to deliver this shit to my house. I say that to say this. Eventually, some of those car dealerships are going to start to disappear because no one's going to want to go in and get haggled just to get a 18% interest rate on a car. I still remember there was a place called CarSmart. Nothing against CarSmart, but there was a place, right, called CarSmart. And when I was trying to purchase my first vehicle, I went there and I was just obsessed. This is the car I want. Let me show you. This is the car I want. I gotta find it. Right? This is my favorite car. I became obsessed with this car the first time I saw it. Where was the first time I saw it? In The Matrix, when the twins were, pushing them down the road. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who remembers that. Shout out to Solo in the building. So this was the car. And I go to CarSmart and I say, hey, this is the car I want. It's my first time ever financing something. I want the car. They see me, this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid, and they're like, yeah, we can get you in that car, right? Mind you, Chad, at the time, I'm working for a bank, so I'm not an idiot. So I go in and thinking, okay, this place seems like it's pretty good. The car's clean. I found the car online. It fits my price range. This is a car I want, right? So I go in and I do the application, and this dude fucking tells me, yeah, The interest rate on your car is going to be 18%. This is not a lie, chat. I said, you're out of your fucking mind. I said 18%. I said, are you guys really scamming people in here? And he said, listen, this is your first time financing anything, you know, blah, blah, blah. I said, bro, exactly. My credit isn't shit. 18%? I said, oh, you guys are scamming. I said, do me a favor. Let me get that copy of my license that you had. I said, let me go ahead and get that from you. He said, I'm telling you right now, buddy, you're not going to go anywhere and find a better deal. I said, I guarantee you, I find a better deal. I said, I'll find a better deal. And because I know you're scamming, now I know that car that I thought was clean is not as clean as it appears because you're scamming. If you're scamming on the finance end, you're definitely scamming when it comes to the maintenance of the vehicle. So I go, I'll find the same car in better shape for a better deal, and I'll bring it back to show you within 2 days. He said, you won't find it like this anywhere. I promise you. I said, okay, cool. So yes, I'm upset at the moment, but you know, young True don't care about that. Mamba mentality, right, chat? So I go back to the computer and I go, okay, let me get back to searching. Come across CarMax. Oh, okay, CarMax, nice. They have the vehicle. They say, hey, we have this vehicle. It's clean. You can get a warranty. The price is good. You can do the whole application online. I did the application online, chat. They gave me the approval. Interest rate was way lower than 18%, mind you. Way lower. Wasn't the lowest, but it was way lower than 18%. I think at that time, my rate might have been like 6%. 7%, somewhere in that range. I said, shit, after hearing 18%, I'll take it. I'll take it. I went and picked up that car, chat, so quick. And as I'm driving back home, I'm driving past this Car Smart and I see this dude outside and I see that Cadillac still sitting in the parking lot. And I'm driving and I wanted to make a right into the parking lot. But again, that Mamba mentality kicked in. I was like, you know what? I have nothing to prove. And I kept driving. And this was the car that I owned right there. I said, bro, your ass is tripping. But again, the point of that story and what we're talking about here is when you see stuff like Carvana, certain places are going to change the way that people do business. The way that Apple and Samsung changed the way people looked at phones, right? Because once upon a time, you could choose from 30 different phones when you went into a store. And now you can choose from 1 or 2 phones. If you go to a specific store, you literally only get 1 phone option, right? So they changed the industry in phones. And then Carvana, and then soon come Amazon, and CarMax, those of the like are going to change the industry when it comes to vehicles. And then other places like Netflix are going to change the game when it comes to streaming and cable and how you get your television, streaming, movie entertainment, right? They're going to change the game, right? Netflix just acquired WB, so now you're going to be sitting at home. You're going to be paying more for Netflix, but you're going to get way more for your money. So those are things you really have to pay attention to. These companies that are really growing are acquiring all these other companies. It may not necessarily be a monopoly, but it's only going to be 2 or 3 players when it's all said and done. Right? Paramount Plus. Listen, Paramount, they're doing something, right? Paramount, Skydance, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's only going to be a few that remain, right? So pay attention to that. Let's move on. China's trade surplus tops $1 trillion despite Trump's attempt to contain it. Here's what that means. I keep reading stuff. I don't know what is true or what's not, but I keep seeing, hey, you're not going to have an income tax. You're not going to have an income tax. Listen, chat, what are you going to do if you don't have an income tax? You get 100% of your pay, but now it's up to you to determine how you're going to use that money because inflation is going to skyrocket, right? Pay attention. India's largest airline operator sees shares tumble after thousands of flight cancellations. S&P 500 futures rise, led by tech sector as Broadcom gains. IBM makes $11 billion deal. IBM stays relevant. You can't just get rid of a semiconductor manufacturer / company that easy. You're not going to do it. Ray Dalio says Middle East is becoming a Silicon Valley of capitalists. Ray Dalio is speaking on capitalists. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now, chat.
You're cooked, brother.
What are you talking about? BlackRock bets on pick and shovel trade, singling out clear winners in AI spending spree. I mean, they're going to be clear winners. The first winners are obviously going to be the ones that are manufacturing the chats. The other winners are going to be those using the autonomous driving, things like that make your life convenient. 42% of student loan borrowers say bills make it harder to cover basic needs such as food. Yes, loans and other bills will always make it hard for you to cover basic needs. The system is a huge scam, and you have to figure out a way to get around it. It's a labyrinth, right? It's like a maze, right? All these things that you learn in life, right? Crossword puzzles, and you do little mazes and all these little things. You got to pay attention to those things because they're telling you, like, this is what life is going to be like. This is what life is going to be out. It's going to be some type of prize on the other end or in the middle, and you're going to have to figure out your way by going through all these obstacles. One of the obstacles these days is student loans. Almost all companies with a 401k now allow Roth savings. Here's who benefits. I mean, we don't got to read the article to know who benefits. If someone's offering something, they probably benefit from the offering. Trump says Zelensky hasn't read U.S. peace proposal as tensions mount. The club's top 10 things to watch in the stock market Monday. Stocks making the biggest moves pre-market: Broadcom, Confluent, Carvana, and more. How recent grads are dealing with the shrinking pool of entry-level jobs. None of us are really thriving. Listen, I know for a fact that there were people who graduated with me, and there was such a wide range of incomes that people started with. There were people who started with minimum wage, and there were people who started with $80,000 and $100,000. Like, there was such a wide range of salaries. And to say none of us are really thriving is probably true for recent grads, especially as I mentioned earlier, you have companies like McDonald's or other companies. Listen, do the research for yourself. But if they're talking fast food companies are paying $30 an hour, who's not working at a fast food company for $30 an hour? $30 an hour, chat? Are you not working at a fast food company for $30 an hour? Let's do the math on that. $30 an hour times 80 is $2,400, right? Times, let's say you get paid bi-weekly, $62,000. Who's not working at a fast food joint for $60,000 a year? We talked about this again. What's the average income in the US 2025? $60,000. $30 an hour, Ice, exactly. Who's not doing that? If the McDonald's up the street starts offering $30 an hour, I might have to go work up there. $30 an hour? Let's see. You go to McDonald's.com. Let's see. Let's see, chat. Let's see if they employment. How do I apply for employment? McDonald's careers. I just want to see how much they're actually paying people. They got corporate jobs, franchisee. We all gonna be Mick there. Exactly. Exactly. Let's just look up, I don't know, 20705, I guess. Not Poland. What the hell? Definitely not Poland. Let's search. I'm just curious to see, like, if they'll show you salaries on this site. Yeah, not this one. This one says $16.25 to $18.47 an hour. Which is still, I mean, $18.47. This is if you work full time, right? Times 80. Right? Times 26. Assuming you get paid. That's still $38, almost $39,000 a year. That's a lot of money. It's pretty good money. This is specifically, this job here is in Maryland. So this is, yeah. Can we look it up by salary? Let's see. Is there a McDonald's paying $30 an hour? I feel like you got to be a manager or something. What is this? The $30 an hour McDonald's job isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. Opinion. I don't care about your backstory. We don't care about history. We just want to know, is there one out there? McDonald's must be really going through it to start at 31. See, who's this? No, that's 4 years ago. That definitely isn't real. Starting 31. That can't be a real picture. Shout out to Step Back in the building. You feel me? We out here looking up to try to see if there's actually a McDonald's paying $30 an hour. In my area, McDonald's pays around $18 an hour. McDonald's $30 an hour jobs. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, boy. Can we skip this? Can we skip this? Hold on, let's see. Let me go full screen real quick. Oh, I know what I could have did too. Let me try something real quick, chat. Let me try something. Let's see if this makes things quicker. Okay, cool. I'm just curious. I'm going to try to sign into this. If McDonald's paid $50 an hour, what are we doing? Listen, $50 an hour. Oh, this actually need to do a phone number. For $50 an hour at McDonald's, I'm pretty much doing anything. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. $50 an hour to work at a fast food joint? Okay, that didn't work. In case people don't know how much money that actually is, 50 times 80, that's a 2-week period. That's $4,000 every 2 weeks. Times 26, that's how many times you would get paid. Whoa. Did I do that right? 104,000? Let's check it again. 50 times $80 every 2 weeks. Yeah, I did it right. Times 26. Whoa. 104,000? Come on. Who's not working at who's $100,000 to work at McDonald's? Of course. Who wouldn't do that? Cleaning ceilings? I'm cleaning the parking lot. I will scrub the yellow lines between the parking spaces for 6 figures at McDonald's. I mean, that's easy. Rising stocks and IPOs helped create 287 new billionaires this year. Let me know if you guys, I seen something that said $30 an hour. It's probably California. What's the California zip code? Let's check a McDonald's in California. 90001. Let's go back to McDonald's real quick. We got to uncover this because they have to be. California has to be one of the highest paying. We got to see. We got to see. Clean the mix signs up. Listen, I'll paint. Whatever you need me to do, you got it. 90001. Oh, I could have did 90210, right? No, we don't want Portugal. What the hell? What makes you think I want Portugal? That's to let you know that McDonald's is so all over the place. All right, so Florence, Huntington Park, sure. Let's look and see what they say. Oh, this says $20 an hour to $22.73. This is for, it says crew member. Yeah, so I'm going to assume that that's probably around the range there, about 20 something dollars an hour. Anything more than that, I would have to assume you have to be trying to get, like, you got to get a corporate career. How much is McDonald's paying their corporate employees? Let's see. Sam, I don't want to talk to you. Sam's about to recruit. He's like, hey, buddy, you wanna work at McDonald's? Come on. McDonald's will probably hire you too. Yeah, $20 an hour. 20 plus. Cost of living high as hell. That's what it is. Let's change the radius to 100 miles because, okay, Irvine, Long Beach Field Office, Strategic Alignment Manager, whatever that is. How much are they paying? What's the salary for a Strategic Alignment Manager? It's probably commensurate. They're probably not going to tell you because they're probably going to pay you more than you think. Okay, well, there's that. Let's get back to these articles. We only got a few more to wrap this up. Elon Musk calls for abolishing, I'll say. How do you say the root word? Abolition of European Union after X fined $140 million. What did X do now? How Ray Dalio would play the markets if he was still running Bridgewater. Bro, you're rich. Won't you just go be rich? Beef prices are soaring. Here's why America is facing record low cattle numbers. Because everyone is rich now. And everyone wants Wagyu instead of the regular old beef. What was it? The Omaha steak or whatever it was. People want the fancy stuff now. They don't want cows. Ew, the cow was walking around in the field and in the farm and in the mud. I want my Wagyu to be elevated and never touch the ground and all this other stuff and only drink spring water. That's what people want. That's what people want. And they're willing to pay for it. They're willing to pay $350 for a 4-ounce piece of steak because they get to post it on their social media. Trump's trade war shift away from Chinese manufacturing has reached tipping point. 3 ways the holiday season is a great time to buy a home. The holiday season is a good time to buy a home. This is what I read in the article. Why is it good to buy a home when it's cold? Well, one, you can see more effectively if there's issues in the house, right? And two, because not a lot of people are buying homes, so houses are going to be less. Houses are going to be more expensive in the summer because everyone wants to buy in the summer. Everyone's out on the road. Everyone is doing house shopping, going to the open houses, etc. So, yeah, they don't tell you because it's an exclusive high pay. Yeah, typically when you see, they say like salary commensurate is what a lot of people will say. This is what you see, right? So when you see stuff like salary commensurate means the pay offered is proportionate to your skills, experience, and education and value. So essentially whenever you apply for a job, right? Sometimes it's better to apply for jobs that don't have a salary listed because when you have a salary listed, that means you're stuck between that range. So how we saw for McDonald's is, okay, if you apply for McDonald's job, you can get salary between, let's call it $18 and $20 an hour, $22 an hour. So when you go apply for that job, you know that's what they're going to pay you. There is no room for negotiation, really, unless you're negotiating within that range. And if you negotiate the higher price point of that range, then you need to know, okay, how often will I get a raise? Are the raises yearly? But when you can find a job that says commensurate, screw you, Indeed. When you can find something that says a commensurate wage, excuse me, what is a commensurate wage? A commensurate wage is a special minimum wage paid to a worker with a disability. No, we don't want that. In short, you can basically negotiate the salary. You can negotiate, right? So we talked about this when I first got on, which is, hey, people in the 90s, they want to stick around forever. They feel like they owe loyalty to their companies, blah, blah, blah. The 2000s babies are like, hey, I'll stick around for 2 years and see if you're giving me what I really want. You know what I mean? Shout out to WAP in the building. And then you have folks that are closer to like the later 2000s, 2010s that are like, hey, anytime I get offered more money, I'm leaving, right? I don't care how long I've been working a job. I don't care about employers seeing me as a job hopper. I don't care about that. If they're offering more money, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go to that higher paying job, right? That's how people nowadays think. People born in the 1900s are loyal. They say, hey, I've been with this company. This company's treated me good. Even if the company treated them like shit, they're not going to go anywhere. They're more so looking for the stability, right? But that job market is slowly being shaken up. The reason why I say I think we need to go back to, listen, I say this with a grain of salt, right? Or take this with a grain of salt. I don't think we need to go back to a pandemic, right? We don't need to, you feel me, step back. We don't need to go back to a pandemic, but we need to go back to a time where people are sitting the fuck down, right? Because when people were doing that, that gave people huge leverage. All those companies had to stop lying to their employees. You can't do this job from home. People really found out whether their job was able to be done from home or not. Because a lot of people, if you couldn't do your job from home, you lost your job, right? But if you could do your job from home, companies had to be like, shit, we got to let them work from home. We can't just lose all of our employees. Right? My dad had the same job since I was born. And that's what happens, right? Because people like the stability. But when people realize that job hopping or moving around sometimes is more beneficial to them, once you learn that or once people discover that, they're more likely to leave. Now, some people have still the ability to tap into like pensions, so they'll stick around for that. Some people have tenure, so they'll stick around for that. Some people have just worked their way up the ladder, so they'll stick around for that. But when you realize that you've been working at the same job for 30 years and someone's coming in making twice, 3 times as much as you because you're just not willing to change jobs, you know what I'm saying? McDonald's is paying $20 an hour. Other jobs are paying hella bread right now for the lowest type of work. And I don't want to say the lowest type of work, but when I say that, I mean work that doesn't require higher education, right? That's where people flourish. Not everybody goes to college, right? So if you can tap into a high paying job that doesn't require education, you're winning. But if it's a job that requires education or a job that says, for example, salary commensurate, you have to be willing to negotiate. And people are scared to negotiate, chat. You can't be scared. You can't be scared to negotiate a salary. You can't be scared. And let me tell you some of the things that people should negotiate that people don't think about negotiating. Straight up, right? If I walk into a job or if I'm applying for a job and it says salary negotiable, salary commensurate, or they use any of these buzzwords that let me know I'm not going to tell you how much we pay, because how much we pay depends on how much we like you, how much skill set you have, or how much you just negotiate, I'm going to tell you right now, let me go full screen. If you don't have the job, if you don't have a job, what are you scared of? What are you scared of? I always told myself that if I am looking for a job, I need everyone who looks at my application to say, God damn, this nigga's crazy. This nigga's crazy. Because I'm going to ask for the moon. And if you call me back, it's Drewski meme. We got him. We fucking got him. Right? That's how you have to think. That's that Mamba mentality, right? So when you apply for a job, chat, and you see something, salary commensurate, salary negotiable, negotiate wild ass shit. Because in your mind, don't let people tell you they're not going to give it to you. Make them say no to you. What's wild ass shit in my opinion? Well, it depends on where you are in life, right? Let me give you an example. And for some people, this is going to click. For some people, they're going to be like, what? Right? And I'm going to use first an example of what a company does to tell you why you should ask for the moon. Uber, right? If anyone out there doesn't know this, you're about to learn right now. What is something that Uber does that people don't know they do? Well, Uber will hire most people within reason. What do I mean by that? If you don't have a car, which is Uber's primary business, which is transportation, if you don't have a car, you can get a car through Uber. Did y'all know that? Who knew that? Who knew that, chat? Raise your hand if you knew that. Raise your hand if you said, hey, Uber wouldn't be a bad job, but you said, I can't do Uber because I don't have a car. Did you know that you could get a car from Uber? Not even rent a car. You'd own the car. So yes, it comes with some puts and takes. And what are the takes? Well, the takes is, well, to pay for the car, they're going to pay for it out of your paycheck. Nani? They're going to pay for the car out of your paycheck. Yes, this is true. This is not false information. This is true. So why would somebody do that? Well, why wouldn't you? If you don't have a car, you don't have a job, why wouldn't I go to a job that also gives me a car? And then you could use that car to make other moves in life. Not to mention, if you actually negotiate with Uber to say, hey, I know you're going to charge me for this car, but let's negotiate some things around it. I'm just using that as an example, but it is a real situation. How do I know it's a real situation? Because I know someone who did it. I know someone who said, listen, I don't have a job, but I hear Uber's hiring. And I say, hey, you don't have a car. I don't give a damn. Uber's going to give me a car. That's a fact. Okay, so what are some of the random things that people can negotiate? Or what are some of the things that people negotiate? I'm typing it in chat. Let's see. What are some of the things people negotiate when it comes to job offers? Let's see. People negotiate many aspects of a job offer beyond just base salary, including signing bonuses, paid time off, benefits, stock options, remote, flexible work, start dates, job titles, professional development funds, perks, etc. When it comes to negotiations, chat, let me show you where most of the people are stuck at. Here. This is where people are stuck at. They don't even realize they're negotiating. When a job says, when can you start? People don't realize that's where negotiations begin. Most people end their negotiations there. When can you start? I can start in a week. I can start in 2 weeks. I can start in a month. That is a negotiation because now you're telling them when you want to be available. And they're basically saying, when do we need someone? So they may, if you say I can start in a month, they may come back and say, well, can you start in 2 weeks? And you either say yes or no. That's a negotiation. People don't realize that start dates are negotiations. What is something else that people negotiate? Job titles, right? Some people may say, for example, if I'm a, let's say if I'm a banker and the position says junior banker, right? Maybe one of the negotiations for my job title is, hey, can you drop the junior? Right? I don't want to be referred to as a junior banker. Can you drop that? That's a negotiation. Right? Depending on the company, some people may negotiate stock options, right? Give me part of the benefits, give me part of the profit of the company, right? Some people nowadays, remote and flexible work ever since the pandemic happened. Like I said, that was a good time for people because it gave them more bargaining power. You're able to recognize what jobs can actually be worked remotely or have a more flexible schedule. And people started negotiating that, right? Professional development funds. Hey, if I do this training, can you pay for it? Relocation packages. Hey, if I move here, can you pay for it? Signing bonuses. Hey, since I'm going to be starting this new job, can you pay me $1,000? Right? But people only negotiate those things because that's all they know. That's all they know, right? Let's see if this article actually comes up. It doesn't. Indeed wants to keep all the information for themselves. Okay, that's fine. It's perfectly fine, right? That's perfectly fine. Let's see. What are some of the non-salary negotiable items? Let's say in a job offer. Let's see what comes up. Tuition reimbursement. Indeed, gatekeeping, exactly. Tuition reimbursement. This is a big thing people need to ask for, especially if you're young, especially if you're a student. Tuition reimbursement. Why wouldn't you ask a job, hey, do you offer tuition reimbursement? That's what people say. Do you offer tuition reimbursement? No. Don't ask people what they offer. You ask them for what you want and let them decline you if they don't offer it. I'm not going to go to a job and say, hey, do you guys reimburse tuition? They're going to say no. Why do I want to pay your school bill for you? No, when you're going through negotiations, you say, hey, I want tuition reimbursement. And then if they say, yeah, then you start negotiating how much, right? Or if you're in school, hey, I'm only working here while I'm in school. Let's negotiate tuition payments, right? Signing bonuses. When people think signing bonuses, people only think, hey, a dollar amount. Hey, I'm starting this new job. Can you give me $500 for starting? And when they say yes, they go, yes. I got a one-time cash payment to offset my lower base salary. Why don't you ask for something else? Why don't you ask for, hey, since you don't have to pay for me to relocate, and from my understanding and my research, you guys pay for relocation, why don't you pay 1/4 of my rent? Won't you pay 1 month of my rent? Right? You guys scared to ask for that? Pay 3 months of my rent. That's my signing bonus. Pay 3 months of my rent. Give me some freedom and some flexibility to operate while I adjust to this new job. Right? I'm in the market to buy a house, but I'm also trying to switch jobs, right? In those type of situations, it can get a little, it can get a little sticky because you want to show that you have, a stable job and all that, blah, blah, blah. But give me a down payment for my house. Can I get a down payment for my house? You feel me? I'm a delivery driver. I'm working this. Hey, can we negotiate a car? Even if it's a company car, let's negotiate something where I'm not working for you, but then it's costing me to work for you because I have to use my own personal car, right? If I'm delivering pizzas, I don't care if I'm just delivering pizzas. I'm going to negotiate. Okay, if I'm delivering pizzas, well, let's negotiate you purchasing a warranty for my car. I don't care if you're Domino's. I don't care if you're Papa John's. I don't care if you're Lito's Pizzas or Little Caesars. You got to tell me no. Just because you may be paying me a lower wage doesn't mean I'm an idiot. Why would I willingly go to a job and now I'm putting all these miles and all this stress on my car to work for you, and now all the money I make, I got to put it back into my car for maintenance? Huh?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Why would I do that? That's not Mamba mentality. The mentality you want to have going inside those situations is, hey, if I'm a delivery driver or if I'm doing any job, my goal is to keep as much of that income as possible. So what can I get this company to do, or what can I ask them for that benefits me? If I'm a delivery driver, let's negotiate an extended warranty on my car. Listen, I'm calling you about your car's extended warranty. You have to talk to my employer. Right? What if you negotiate something small? We can't do that, but we can do something else. Is there anything else you had in mind? Yeah, pay for my oil changes. Every 5,000 miles, you pay for my oil change. You feel what I'm saying? You got to negotiate. In every opportunity when money's involved, you have to negotiate. And you have to put yourself in the better spot and let them tell you no. This job says, hey, it's commensurate or salary negotiable. What's the number that you have in your head? Whatever that number is, chat, you need to multiply that number. You need to multiply that number by some factor that might be even 2. So if you're going for a job and you're thinking, I want to get paid $30,000, you need to say, listen, can you pay me 60? And let them come back and be like, whoa, we can't exactly do that much, but we can do 45. Cool. I'll take 45. Or when they start to show negotiation, right? Then you start adding to the negotiation. Okay, well, if you're only able to do 45, in lieu of the other 15, what about 2 weeks paid vacation, right? Because you start a new job, chat. You go in. How much leave you got? How much leave you got? You started a new job. You're so excited. You got your first paycheck. Your first paycheck is higher than your last job. You look at your leave or your PTO balance. That should say 0.3.
What the hell is even that?
You got 1 hour of leave this last pay period. What you going to do with that? How about you negotiate some leave up front? Can I get a week of leave up front? And let me tell you, when it comes to leave and stuff like that, that is the easiest thing to negotiate, because it doesn't actually change your salary or the compensation. All it changes is the availability that you have to the company. But if your time is worth money to you, it does have a dollar value, right? But to them, it doesn't change anything. If they're paying you $40,000, $50,000 a year, them giving you 2 weeks of leave up front, it does not change that number. All it's going to mean is you're not going to work for 2 weeks, and they're still going to pay you the $50,000. They're going to pay you leave. Pay you while you're away. But now you have 2 weeks of time to yourself that you're still getting paid for. So those are some of the things that you have to negotiate. You're in a performance-based job? Well, negotiate a bonus structure and get payout clarity, right? These are all things that you should be thinking about. And it goes beyond this. It goes beyond, hey, pay for my rent, pay for my mortgage, pay for my insurance premium, right? What's a mandatory absence to have with a person who got a salary? What do you mean a mandatory absence to have? Is that negotiable for salary people? Of course. When it comes to a salary, you can negotiate anything. When it comes to a salary, you can negotiate anything, but it does come with experience, right? Because someone who's newer to the job market, someone who's newer to a salary, right? Some people who are new to a salary are still getting played because they don't understand what a salary means. A salary means this is how much you're going to pay me for the year. Especially if you read the terms of your contract and it says, hey, you're going to get paid this amount no matter what. Let's say you're an exempt employee, right? Exempt versus non-exempt, right? Refers to an employee classification under the Fair Labor Standards Act, with the main difference being overtime pay. Non-exempt employees get overtime and a minimum wage, often hourly. Exempt employees don't get overtime and are usually salaried, performing specific executive, administrative, or professional duties, meeting salary thresholds, right? Maybe 6 months of time out of the year and still get paid for that for the year. Yeah, so it just depends on what you negotiate, right? So you can negotiate how much time you accrue per pay period, or the company may already have a structure set up. So for example, let's say you get paid on a biweekly period. You get paid every 2 weeks. They may say every 2 weeks you accumulate 1 day of leave. Or it may be something lower. They may say you may accumulate 2 hours. So maybe you can negotiate that. Maybe you negotiate, hey, you can have this much time off up front, right? So there's different ways you can go about it. So when it comes to salary and when it comes to negotiations, it just all depends on what the company's willing to accept and what you're offering. The more you can offer a company, the more a company's willing to accept. How long is considered a vacation? It varies because some people consider a week off a vacation. Some people a month, right? Some people have what they call use or lose. Use or lose is a policy common in government, right? In some private sectors, meaning employees must use their accrued paid time off by a certain deadline or forfeit it, right? Preventing large cash payouts or indefinite accrual, right? So meaning some people can accrue leave throughout the whole year, but they haven't taken, quote unquote, a vacation. So look at this. This says for federal employees, for instance, they have annual limits, 30 days, right? 30 days and must schedule use or lose. So you can't have more than 30 days of vacation accrued at the end of the year because they don't want to have to pay you out. So some companies, what they'll do to avoid people from having an absurd amount of leave, for example, 6 months, right? Because you don't want an employee reaching a point where they have 6 months of leave. And then that employee says, hey, I want to take all 6 months. And now you're down an employee for half a year, but you still have to pay them. Companies don't want that. So there are other things that companies put in place to avoid that. Use or lose policies. So, hey, you can't carry over more than 30 days worth of leave. So any leave you have. So if you're an employee and you have 2 months of leave, you have to realize that by a certain date, typically I think a lot of companies go by the end of the year. So let's say December 1st. So if by December 1st, I have 60 days worth of leave and I have a use or lose policy, that means I'm losing 30 days worth of leave if I don't use it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take off the whole month of December. Your dad had you think 3 months. Yeah. Right? And to give you guys an idea of how much that is, right? So if you think about an average 80-hour work period, right? You can think it's about 4 months. Let's call it, not 4 months, I'm sorry. Let's say about 4 weeks. And again, about 4 weeks and a month. Let's use that standard amount of time, right? We'll say 4 weeks in a month. So you'll say that's 80 hours, right? So 80 hours times 3, right? So Stepback's dad had probably a little over 240 hours. But it depends on the company policy also, Ice. So that's why it's important to be familiar with your own company's policies, because some companies may have use or lose and some people may have payout. So for example, if let's say for Stepback's dad, let's say he has 240 hours worth of leave, but he can only carry over 1 month worth of leave, so 80 hours. That means they're going to pay him out 160 hours. For some people, it's worth it because let's say, for example, you don't get to go on a vacation this year, right? Or maybe you're saving up for something. You say, instead of going on vacation, I'm going to save up my leave hours and I'm going to get paid out. So if I get paid $20 an hour and they're going to pay me for 160 hours, they're going to give me a check for $3,200. So it just depends. So if someone doesn't use it, they pay you that excessive amount as a check. Correct. That's correct. Some, not all companies, because some you just lose it. Some you literally just lose the time. You didn't take it, you lose it. But those are some of the things that you sign for. You have to know what your contract says. But these are some of the things that go along with being a salaried employee or an exempt employee, right? Because in a lot of cases, being exempt means, hey, if you work more than 80 hours, you don't get paid the time and a half. So if you get paid $20 an hour, a non-exempt employee may make $30 an hour if they start working over 80 hours in a pay period, while the exempt employee may not, because they won't get paid that time and a half. So it's not necessarily sad. It just all depends on, do you understand the rules or do you understand the layout? Because if you do, you'll do it a little differently, right? Anybody's ever seen that schedule that they come out with each year of, hey, here's how to maximize your PTO. Watch this. How to maximize leave 2026. They come out with something like this every year. If y'all have never seen this, allow me to put you on. Right? So they come out with stuff like this to say, hey, here's where all the holidays take place. And here's the average amount of leave for the regular person. If you schedule your leave on these specific days, you can maximize the amount of time you're off for a year. So you strategically book days or put in PTO leave, right? So here's an example. Key dates for 2026, January 2nd, which is a Friday. So if you take off January 2nd, you get a 4-day weekend. Or January 2nd and 5th for 9 days off with 3 to 4 days of leave. Right? Shout out to Greenlight for entering the chat. Feel free to leave the door open. We're talking about salary negotiations. We're talking about maximizing leave. We're talking about salaried employees. He used it before he retired after 40 years at the post office. Shout out to the retirement. Shout out to that. Can I react to the amazing digital circus? What's that? So each year they come out with something like this and they give you quote unquote strategies, right? So here's strategies on how to use leave. But again, understanding your company's leave policy, right? Because some of those, it's an adult animated show. So some of these companies, right, may not allow you, they will have what they call blackout dates, right? So they have what they call blackout dates. So specific periods, often during busy seasons or events like holidays, when employees restrict employees from taking paid time off. So for example, peak seasons, right? Like Christmas, Black Friday. So if you work for like a retailer, they may say, hey, if you're working for us, especially during the season, you can't take off during certain holidays. So it's important to understand those type of things as well. Right? Shout out to Greenlight for entering the chat. Hopefully you learned something today. Not sure what the Amazing Digital Circus is, but I'm True, variety streamer. And this is your Financial Entertainment Monday. You feel me? So all these things tie in together, right? I know we jumped around a little bit today, but essentially that's what you have to do. You have to, one, again, start off with the Mamba mentality. You have to know where to go for certain things. So we talked about a business account. We talked about establishing a business account. We talked about how some industries will eventually basically consolidate because Netflix, right? Netflix is now taking over WB. So if you want to watch Game of Thrones or Big Bang Theory or Harry Potter and all those things, it's going to probably be coming to Netflix because now they own all that shit, right? We talked about salaries and negotiations. So these are some of the things you can negotiate, right? Even if you're again, if you're in college or you're a student, negotiate all things, right? If you have a current employer and maybe your employer, right? Peep game. Maybe your employer can even allow you during your job duties to get your internship credits or get your work hours. You asked 50 plus streamers to react to the Amazing Digital Circus, but everyone refused it. Can you give more details? You said an adult animated show. How long is the show? You got to give more details. We're not refusing. We're saying you got to give us more details. Because right now we're in the middle of a financial entertainment discussion. But if you can give us more details, because you said adults, right? We're not going to go on there and see some cartoon breasts, right? The Amazing Digital Circus. Who's heard of the Amazing Digital Circus? But those are some of the things you got to think about, chat. Especially in the times that we're in now. You got to be willing to say, hey, listen, I'm not going to let you treat me like shit. And we're going into 2026. And y'all know y'all got True here giving you the financial entertainment. You're going in 2026 with a new mindset. It's almost time to hit that reset button. You know, when January 1st come around, you feel refreshed. Maybe you accidentally write down 2025 for at least a week into the new year, but eventually you get it together. You got to start thinking about the new year now. You got to start thinking about, quote unquote, those New Year's resolutions. What are you going to do in the new year? What's something that you want to do to improve your life? You got to start thinking about the puts and takes that you have. What are some areas that you want to invest more of your time, and some areas you're willing to lose out on some of your time, right? About the woman that gets trapped in the digital world with 5 other humans. You'll find out more if you watch it. It's mostly for teens. Let's pull it up, chat. The Amazing Digital Circus. This is this. Do you have any stake in the Amazing Digital Circus? We like to do some research here, so let's research it at least. All right, so episode guide. 1 season. A woman finds herself trapped in a crazy circus-themed virtual world with 5 other humans in the same situation as her. They are now subject to the whims of a crazy artificial intelligence. So here are some of the characters, chat. Let's see how we can apply this to our current conversation. 91% like this TV show. 8.1 on IMDb. Oh, everything's going to be on Netflix for sure. Everything's going to be on Netflix. Creator, Gooseworks. Who's Gooseworks? Greenlight is about to get a a first class seat on how we do research here. So it's from 2023. They're also known for Little Runmo and Little Runmo English dub. Okay. Gooseworks. You know who Gooseworks is? Trivia. She likes the game Deltarune, and her favorite character is Spamton. Spamton? Interesting. That's the amazing Digital Circus. This is Gooseworks, but here's the Amazing Digital Circus. Here's a trailer to it.
Welcome to the Amazing Digital Circus! My name is Kane. I'm your ringmaster, and I'm here to show you the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, mind-bending paraphernalia you've ever laid your eyes upon!
So that's what the show is like. I'm not going to watch it here for obvious reasons. I would have to do the research myself first, right? And just so you know, Greenlight, here's a little thing about this channel, right? We learn so much here. One of the things we learned is how to protect yourself and how to stay away from copywritten material at times, right? Not all the time, but at times. So, with this being on Netflix, it's a streaming service. NPCs talking about personal trauma, etc., etc., etc. Psychological drama, psychological horror. Maybe I could watch it and then we could talk about it. I'm not going to play it on my stream though, right? Because I don't want the owner, right? I don't want Gooseworks to come on here and say, hey, now I own all the revenue from your stream because you sat there and played my entire video on your stream. Not going to do that. It says season 1 returns December 12th. So there's a little bit about it. Kane using an earlier suggestion from Bubble to send the gang out on a day at the beach. Tell us why you like the show. Tell us what you like about the show. You know what I mean? Tell us what you like about the Amazing Digital Circus. Murder Drones, the Gaslight District, Hell of a Boss. I got some wild stuff here. You feel me, chat? So yeah, salary negotiations, etc., etc., etc. Those are all things you got to pay attention to. Read the fine print. Read the fine print. Read the fine print, chat. You gotta be willing to go out there and just ask for the stars, right? And let them decline you. Because a big part of being successful or making those strides to the next step is you got to eliminate the scarcity mindset. You got to eliminate the scarcity mindset. You got to eliminate the thought that, hey, I'm not going to spend my last $5 on something because I'm never going to get the $5 again. You have to be thinking like, listen, it's just $5. It's just $2. It's going to come back to me. That's how you have to think. You gotta know that, hey, anything you put out is going to go out there and work for you and come back. That's why, listen, I said this before and I'll say it again. I am more willing to pay subs to a channel. This might sound crazy to some people, but to other people, you might get it. I am more willing to gift subs to a channel than I am to use channel points. Why? Why am I more willing to gift subs to a channel than I am to use channel points? When people say, well, channel points don't have any monetary value. Well, to true, they do. To true, the channel points actually cost and are worth more than the subs. Why is that? Because to earn channel points, majority of channel points, it costs you your time. It costs you your time. So for me to give my time to a stream, earn channel points, and then use, let's say, 10,000 points to play a sound that says, some crazy shit. I don't know what it is. It could be anything. It's harder for me personally to do than it is to be like, hey, here's a sub. Because I know how much my time is worth, right? And then also, it's the long term. You would rather give others to watch them instead of sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Channel points to me is time, chat. It's time. So whenever people use channel points, I'm like, listen, that's their time that they've given to a channel. And some people just like give it freely, which is cool. If you watch Digital Circus on YouTube, you not get copyright. If you watch it on Netflix, you'll get copyright, whether you're streaming or video or recording a video. Shout out to the info from Greenlight, providing us with some knowledge between YouTube and Netflix. Shout out to that. And we know that we talked about it earlier. Netflix is costing folks like $20. Listen, I started paying for I've been paying for Netflix for 16 years, chat. Here's my proof. There's my proof right there. I proved it earlier. I'll prove it again for those who weren't around. That is the original Netflix Wii instant streaming disc right there. So I know about Netflix. I've been paying for Netflix for 16 years. You feel me? So yeah, chat. Hopefully folks really, really understood the message for today. Right? Because I didn't have a true like outline of things. I wanted to show some different things and talk to some things. You feel me? Hold on, chat. Hey, green light, I'm not be real with you. That's probably why people haven't reacted. You're kind of pushy, bro. You're not gonna lie, you're kind of pushy. Because you gave me the synopsis that we just looked up, but you haven't given me the reason of why, right? You got to give me a why. My time is valuable. If I'm teaching my chat about something that's going to help them make money and help them improve their lives in a financial manner, obviously everyone got to do their own research. You got to tell me why I should stop that to watch an entire episode of the Digital Circus. Right? You gotta let me know, right? Especially as a first time chatter, right? Like what's the agenda behind it? Cause we don't turn away people here. We like to have a conversation. But you got to engage in the conversation as well versus, hey, just go watch the amazing Digital Circus. If you want me to just say it out my mouth so it's promoted, hey, sure. Not sponsored, but sure. Maybe the amazing Digital Circus is a great show. Didn't seem like it got rated low. But tell us the message behind it. You feel me? You got to give us something. Give the chat, give the people what they want. Right? Because if you just say, hey, go watch the amazing Digital Circus. And on this channel, we actually talked about sales. Y'all remember we talked about sales, chat? You like to see people's reaction? Well, this is my reaction right here. My reaction without watching the show, because I seen it. I seen the synopsis. I seen the preview, right? Because without providing additional context, this is what people are going to say. They're going to see that and they're going to say,
What the hell is even that?
Right? That's what you're going to say.
What the hell is even that?
What the hell is even that, right? Because here on this channel, we read. We read. We read. Right? You feel me, chat? We read. I have a book right in front of me. We read. We read all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we may watch some clips and things like that. We don't do a ton of reactions here. We read here. If you were looking for the place to go where folks come out and read, well, here you are. Right? We were reading on CNBC and we're making our own assumptions. That's what we do here. Right? Many content creators have reacted to this show on YouTube. This is not YouTube. You feel me? We read. That's what we do. We don't go through all the articles in detail. We don't go through all the videos in detail. We look at a little snippet and we make our own assumptions about it. So when it comes to the amazing digital circus, we can actually look at the details of it, right? 25 minutes is a long time. 25 minutes is a long time. If you know True, which this is your first time chatting today, I'm guessing you don't know True that well. 25 minutes is a long time. Long time. Right? A long time, especially when True doesn't stream for 6, 7, 8 hours. My average stream is about 2 hours. So to spend 25 minutes watching the amazing digital circus, which might be a good show. I might check it out later. Thanks for the recommendation. But that's how far our reactions go. We look at it, we read the details. Now we even know, listen, Gooseworks. We know who the creator is. Gooseworks. Right? Here's Gooseworks. Gooseworks has 1.7 plus million followers on YouTube. Right? Almost 500,000. Gooseworks Music. Gooseworks IMDb. So Gooseworks is out there. Who is Gooseworks? Is this Gooseworks? She's best known for musician, cartoonist, animator. Gooseworks. Is Gooseworks on Twitch? This is the type of vibe we're on. This is the type of vibe we're on here. Gooseworks. Is this the same? It's 3.1 thousand followers. Let's see. I'm Gooseworks. And I like to boogie hard. Let's see. Where's the YouTube take us? There you go. Elaine gets adopted. 6.6 and a half views. Look at that. There you go. This is the way we vibe. No, she's not on Twitch. Then who's this? Who's that then? Maybe she doesn't live stream, but somebody's on Twitch. This says Gooseworks right here. And then when I click on it, it takes me straight to the YouTube. 1.7 million subscribers. That's what we looked up. 163 videos. You see that? This looks like some crazy stuff. What does this remind you of, chat? What are these, when you look at these, what do these remind you of? What do some of these cartoons remind you of? This stuff has been going on for a while. Glitch Productions. $17.1 million subscribers. It's a lot. It's a lot. With this many subscribers, you can probably find people who are currently reacting to it. Have you actually checked Twitch for the amazing digital circus? Because there's probably people. Long-term production. Exactly. There's probably people who literally sit on here and react to this. Glitch Productions. Let's see. There's probably people who react to this stuff all day. You feel me? There you go. Obviously, people love it. So I'm not sure what type of reaction you're looking for, but people clearly love it. I mean, 91 million views. Why don't you tell Glitch Productions come watch me? They got enough people watching them. 91 million views, chat. 91 million views. Shout out to that. You got cartoon clowns blicking people up. You know what I'm saying? Ragatha. I heard Ragatha before. Listen, tell Glitch, hey, Glitch, if you're listening, Glitch, hey, we're going to check out the show offline. But if you're online, come and check us out. You bring you and your 17.1 million subscribers over here. Check out True. Check out the Raid Train community. Check out all the other communities. Listen, come support us. We need your support because Glitch is obviously winning right now. 17.1 million subscribers, chat. Listen, 17.1 million subscribers, chat. The first episode got 399 million views. Are you getting paid off of this green light? You can let us know if you're getting paid. We don't gatekeep here. You don't have to gatekeep. Are you getting paid? 399 million views is a lot of views for you to be dedicated to get more people to watch. 399 million views. My videos get like 20 views, bro. Or sis. Or whatever. You feel me? Tell Glitch come through and check us out. Glitch, Gooseworks, we need some of your views over here, okay? You feel me? Shout out to Greenlight in the chat. Putting us on to the amazing digital circus. You feel me? But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. You feel me, chat? I appreciate each and every one of you. And y'all know the vibes. Monday, you got to tap in. And listen, we've been going strong for 6 months now. 6 months, first of all. 171 million views for the second episode. Listen, let me show you something really quick. Combined together, you showed me almost 600 million views. You want to push something? Tell folks to go watch True Keymain, who has look at how many videos I have on YouTube. It's over 100 hours of videos damn near on YouTube. And look, no views, 5 views, 46 views, 1 view, no views. You know what I'm saying? Go push this type of content. You feel me? Go push this content and say, listen, this dude is over here teaching people financial entertainment on a Monday. We need all 600 million of you to come through and show him some support. You feel me? And I haven't even uploaded videos in 2 weeks. I got to get back to, I still got more videos to upload. Look, we are consistent. And I'm not even the most consistent. I stream 3 days a week. I am consistent with my streaming schedule, though. It is the holiday season, so give me some grace. I'm an old person. I'm an old man. In case you can't tell, I'm approaching my 60s. You feel me? But we are streaming. We went to TwitchCon, you know, for those of you who care about that type of stuff. But we out here grinding. And we're just preparing ourselves for 2026. Because one thing about True, even though I'm consistent with my streaming, I still have knowledge up here in areas that people don't. So if I can share the knowledge, at least a bit of it, not saying I'm the best when it comes to business. I'm not the smartest when it comes to investing. I'm none of those things. I never claimed to be. I just know a little bit about a lot of things. A jack of all trades, a master of none. You feel me? Shout out to your boy True. You feel me? Shout out to that. You got me? But anyway, chat, that's really all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed the entertainment today. Per usual, feel free to come through. You can ask questions. We don't turn one away here. All are welcome. Notice how my mods were just chilling. Nobody's like, oh, we're going to ban you or nothing. We're not on that here. We're chilling. We're chilling. Who knows what type of relationship this may have? Next thing you know, one of my videos got 200 million views and Greenlight is on here and getting paid for pushing the videos. Shout out to the consistency. Listen, Greenlight got that Mamba mentality, chat. That mentality we've been talking about today. Greenlight got that. You feel me? That's what you got to have. But don't go nowhere because we're going to raid out. You feel me? Make sure y'all stay right there. Y'all know, stay locked in. Stay locked in. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to turn up on Muff. You feel me? Let's find somebody to raid out too. Let's go. You already know the vibes. We're going to do it a little different this time. Let's see. It is a Monday. Let's check. We're going to do it a little different this time. And listen, and Greenlight, if he's still there, let's see. Oh, this yeah, he been on for a long time. Let's see. All right, here we go, chat. Let's stay consistent. We ain't gonna do it that different this time around. Let's take the vibes over here. When I hear that beat drop, y'all already know the vibes. Let's go. Appreciate y'all always coming through and showing love. Make sure y'all show just as much love to the next person as well. Y'all know the community needs it. We ain't got 400. We ain't got 200 million views. But we working our way there, chat. One view at a time. Let's go.